She had a slideshow on, and she was teaching and she was reading it, and I was just in the back talking, and she came up to me, Carter, I'm teaching the class right now. You can listen, or you could be the teacher and go up and teach. So I'm like, I'll teach.
All right, welcome to Brainstoke. I'm Tom Telford here with Preston Niederhauser. We are in studio today, our Mountain Green Chateau studio. It's possible that giant tractors, someone falls off the roof. Who knows what's going to happen during our time today? But yeah, we're excited to be in studio. First off, thank you, Levo, a mind care company, mental health professionals in the state of Utah who are helping people with their primary mental health care. Also, thank you to Bolt Shave Company. Adam Barker's got some cool things in store coming out soon. We'll keep that under wraps, but Bolt continuing to be the leader in men's silky legs business. Also want to thank Cornerstone Advisors. Brainstoke is all about the 5 S's, and when it comes to coping better with stresses in life, Cornerstone is an awesome financial services firm who makes sure that people are making wise decisions with their financial planning. So thank you, Gardner Brown and Cornerstone, for your continuous support. And lastly, after last weekend's dirty gravel riding in St. George on our new Mogs, thank you, Envy, for incredible products in the carbon fiber space, and especially the new Mogs that we're now hammering down dirt roads. Any thoughts on that, Preston?
Game changer, maybe a life changer. All of a sudden, we've decided we want to spend more time riding the lonely roads of gravel.
So, Gardner, when you want us to be smarter financially, we're blaming Envy.
That's exactly
because
right.
our income continues to go to amazing bikes, so that we can be middle-aged dads in spandex hammering on carbon fiber.
Yep.
So, anyway, thank you, Envy, for your continuous ambassador support of all that we're doing at Brainstoke and for the amazing bikes. Preston.
Yeah.
Who's our guest?
Dude, we got a stud. We got a stud in studio today. His name's Carter Metcalf. How are you, Carter?
I'm so good. How are you guys?
We're awesome.
Awesome.
And we're excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
You've got quite a online following. You've been diagnosed with Tourette's, right?
Yep.
How long have you had Tourette's?
I've had Tourette's my whole life. I've always had little tics and twitches, but I got diagnosed with it about a year and a half ago.
Okay. So, and we've had a little fun with Carter off camera beforehand, but Carter, we need you to share with us the funniest scenario or situation you've had with regards to an episode of Tourette's.
Yeah, I wasn't really having Tourette's when this happened, but when it was just recently when we were in New Zealand. Can you? Oh,
There
yeah.
you go.
We were with my cousins and my mom, and we were going to a bakery to get some pies. They had the best food there. They're these little pies with different kinds of meat inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we went to get some pies, and I was like, Mom, why did the chicken cross the road? And I go, because. And then my cousin goes, why did the cow cross the road? He goes, because. And then my sister Charlotte, she goes, why did Carter cross the road? And a little backstory real quick. My tics, when I would tick, I would go like that, and then I'd stutter.
Okay.
But my sister Charlotte goes, she goes, why did Carter cross the road? And my mom goes, because.
Did you laugh at your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty creative.
It's pretty funny.
Who's your mom? What's your mom's name?
Cassie
Cassie.
Metcalfe.
Well played, Cassie. Just keeping it light. Yeah. I mean, do you mind if I ask you a question about that in particular?
Yeah.
So, for those who are listening in, we joked off camera, but speak about just how you think and feel and how you approach it in terms of just attitude. When you were first told that you have Tourette's, how did that feel to you? Take us to that moment and what led up to it and how did it feel?
So like I said, I've always had ticks and twitches, like just like in my eyes, or it got really bad one year or a year before I got diagnosed. I would flex my arm just constantly, and after like a month, my arm got really sore. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, Mom and Dad. We need to go talk to a doctor. But then that went away, and we didn't really like think of it. And then my dad got in a really bad mountain bike accident. We were up in Deer Valley. We were up in Park City. He was on a work trip, and he had a day off, and we brought our bikes, and he's like, let's go ride a Deer Valley, a mountain bike resort. And we go up, and we're having so much fun on this trail. We're like yelling, like having a good time. And usually I'm in front just because like I can like go over the air and hit the jumps easier, and then my dad can kind of see what it's like, you know? I take
Is he JV? Is he JV to your varsity? He's Robin to your Batman, right? Let's be honest. Here we go. Dad's saying he's the guinea pig, but how would you describe it?
So I don't know. He kind of just doesn't really he kind of films. He's the filmer. He doesn't really do the...
He's the filmer. This is so good, bro. I think
sometimes he gets more excited when I hit a jump than I do.
Rad.
Because of the shot. He's like, oh, that's going to be sick.
Yeah, nice.
But anyways, we were going on the trail, and I was in front, and I take a wrong turn, and he's like, no, it's this way. So I hike back up a few feet and start following him. And we're still like having a fun time, and we go into the woods, and he hits a jump, goes over the bars, and tumbles 5 times down the landing of the jump. And I get down to him. I like throw my bike off to the side. I get down to him. I'm like, Dad, are you okay? He's kind of just laying there like not breathing or talking. And I was like, Dad, can you like talk to me? Like, stop joking. And then he had like 1 second where he was like took a breath. Like his eyes, he wasn't really looking at anything, but he like looked at me, and I was like, okay, good. But he wasn't talking for another minute, I'd say. And then I looked down, and his arms stuck in his rear tire, and his bones like completely sticking out of his arm. And I was like, oh, he's like actually hurt. So I go to the top of the jump, wave somebody down. They come down, they call ski patrol, and they come up, 2 stretchers, one to take my dad down. They put him in a neck brace and an oxygen mask, and it took 6 people to lift him onto the bed thing and then onto the stretcher. But then they took me down on a different one, and I see the helicopter come in and take him out. And I was there for a few hours while I waited for my grandparents to come pick me up. So I go there, and then my brother, he was in Utah, and then because he lives in New York, but he was in Utah, and he took me and my sisters back to my sisters were at the hotel with my mom. So my grandparents take me back, and then I see my mom for like 30 seconds. She's like, I love you, Carter. I'm going to go to the hospital to see Dad with my grandparents. So they take my mom, and then me and my brother and my 2 sisters are at the hotel, and they're swimming, and we're just swimming, and I'm just sitting on the bench like, is my dad dead? Like, I thought he was dead because he wasn't talking to me, and like, yeah. But then we get to my aunt's house. After leaving Park City, we go down into Farmington, and I get to my aunt's house, and my mom was still at the hospital. I think she stayed that night, and we called her on FaceTime, and my dad was talking, and I broke down in tears. I was like, Dad, I can't believe you're alive. Like, I can't believe you're okay. And he broke both of his wrists, punctured both of his lungs, all of his ribs on one side, a few on the other side, chipped his spine. I don't know where in his spine, but he chipped his spine, and yeah, it was pretty scary. We were on a trip there because we live in California, and we had to stay there in an extra month before we could start traveling. So got to spend a lot of time with cousins and family. We made a little hospital bed in my in one of his brother's houses, like in his living room. We got a bed, and
So around this same time, right after witnessing your dad's accident, some things changed with you and how you reacted to the Tourette's.
so it wasn't during his accident. It was we started biking like 6 months after he got completely better. It's
Okay.
like 10 months, 8 months after the crash. Started going on some rides, and we were having fun, and it comes around to the year anniversary mark where he's like, when he crashed, and we're all talking about it. I'm like, can't believe that was a year ago, because it flew by pretty fast. It was like, yeah, I almost, like, he crashed almost a year ago, and some of the doctors think that trauma, like, kind of triggered my Tourette's. That's when it happened. Like, I'd wake up. I woke up one morning, and I couldn't talk. My neck was just twitching nonstop, just up and down, like left and right, and I would stutter 20 times a word, and I couldn't talk. That's when it got really bad.
And were you 11 at that point? It was about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I was about 12 or 11. Yeah,
Okay.
and then we go to our stand. We look at some doctors, see what doctors could maybe help us out, and found the Stanford one, and we finally got in after like a month, and I'm still twitching, like still really bad, and we go in. The doctors diagnosed me with Tourette's, OCD, anxiety, ADHD, and I don't know what the last one is, but I think there's another one. But we go, and she's like, let's try some different medicines, but each one will take like 2 weeks to kick in. So go through a few meds, and some of them just made me really depressed. Some of them, like, you couldn't see a difference. And we got one that we were going to try. It's a pretty heavy medicine, Prozac. And she's like, it'll take 6 weeks till you start seeing a difference. So I was at home for another month and a half, just still twitching, taking the medicine. And during like 3 months after, or 3 weeks after I started taking the medicine, you could start to see like it slowly progress and get better and better until like I didn't have it. Still had it in my eyes, but a little bit. But I had to drop out of school, drop out of sports. So I was just at home.
Wow. When you were in those appointments, Carter, I'm curious, just in your words, not in adults' words, but in your words, how would you describe what Tourette's is?
Tourette's is like, you can't control it. It's movement, or like, well, sometimes it's like you say stuff, but other times it's like movement, like you'll like twitch your head, like I was saying, and it's something you can't control. Like, it's like an urge, it's like an itch, like it'll just keep annoying you until you finally itch it, and then it'll like, you'll get some relief, and it's just, yeah, it's something you can't really control.
When it's happening, are you like frustrated that you can't stop it and control it, or does it get to or did it reach a point where you would just let it happen and just move on and keep sharing your train of thought?
When it was really bad, it was so much pain. It was like some of the worst pain, because it wasn't like a really sharp pain. It was like just like a mild pain, but constant, just like 24/7, just all the time. And it got really bad. It made my neck super sore where like my mom would try to massage it and just like even just barely touching it, it would really hurt. So um it's frustrating sometimes when you have it and like you can't talk, but other times you don't really notice it. Like with my eyes, my eye twitch, like I don't really notice it.
I guess that's something we would have never realized, that there's pain involved with the symptoms. Like I would have had no idea that hurts. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, in my head, it's an urge that you can't control, but I didn't know that there was muscle or that there are, other things happening in the nerves where I'm assuming that it's contracted and it's strained, but you can't control that either. So yeah, I didn't necessarily know that there was a physical component to it. It's amazing.
Yeah. When most people think of Tourette's, they think of the one where you just like burst out like swear words, and that's like a common one. But the frontal lobe, there's two different parts of your brain, and two parts control it. And the more back side of your brain is where it's like your vocals, like you talking and like shouting out words. And then the frontal lobe is connected with like anxiety and stress and stuff like that. And the more anxiety and stress you have, the worse your muscle movement will get. So it's not really the talking, it's more the stress will activate muscle, like the muscle movement part of it.
Super interesting just to kind of hear that described. Carter, you part of your story, you immediately spoke about the bike, right? So tell us about the bike and family culture and why biking is such a part of the story.
So ever since I was like 3 years old, I like learned to ride a bike at like 2. My dad always had a motorcycle. Like he would take us on motorcycle rides, and he worked for an electric motorcycle company, and they had some like demos of like kids' bikes that I would ride around. And I was like, I always loved bikes, and I was kind of more of a like street, just kind of like BMX kind of rider. I wasn't really into the whole mountain biking thing, but one of our friends from Santa Cruz, he worked at Santa Cruz Bikes. So he had a bunch of extra bikes, and he took me and my dad out to ride one time, and I just fell in love. I'm like, Dad, I gotta get a mountain bike. So got like a $500 mountain bike, like just beginner one, and then after that, I got a nicer one off Facebook Marketplace, and I just kept going up and up, and I would keep hitting like bigger and bigger stuff. And yeah, when my Tourette's were really bad, the only thing that would give me some like relief was going outside and doing wheelies. So I'd be outside 8 hours a day, just doing wheelies.
Why? Why was
something
that? Yeah.
about the focus about a wheelie, just like, yeah, I don't know.
Wheelie specifically, not necessarily riding.
Not even riding, like
Yeah.
going down trails or riding a bike, like I'd still like twitch. It's the focus, because I wasn't like very good at it. So like I had to like really pay attention and focus a lot, because it wasn't like I was just like natural and could do it easy. I like had to focus and get like good at it. And if I could hold a wheelie for 30 seconds at that time, 30 seconds of just relief would be like the best feeling ever.
Wow.
Carter, I have ADHD, and I have lots of friends with ADHD. We've interviewed a lot of incredible athletes with ADHD. And when you sit and speak with them, they will talk about this very thing, that the one thing that allows them to feel like they are in a different mind space is that they either need to speed up or they need to be in an environment where there's high risk, rock climbing, snowboarding, skiing, right? Sending it big. When you hear them describe it, they will say things like, when my body's moving fast or they're engaged in something physically that they have to focus on, all of a sudden their mind gets into this flow state. And I don't know if you've studied the flow state, but the flow state, it feels like the very thing that God put you on the earth to do. It just feels like this is what I was meant to do. It feels so good and so right.
Yeah.
Your body and your mind and your spirit are all in sync doing something. And your description there of riding a wheelie or popping a wheelie, I'm picturing you getting into this flow state of like, this is where you can perform at your highest level, you know?
Yeah.
And you don't have that same kind of Tourette's or that feeling. Your dad may know this band, U2. I don't know if he's ever, you know.
We love you too.
We love U2.
Yeah.
There's a song that they sing that says, running to stand still. And I think about that a lot. Like when my body speeds up, all of a sudden my mind gets more focused and better. Describe that.
So my mom, she was always like, Carter, you should try piano or like try an instrument. I think that focus would help you. And I like tried piano, and something about it, like it wasn't like, yeah, it like couldn't like get my energy out. Like I couldn't like, so biking, when I'm just like going fast down a trail, it feels so, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, yeah, something about just playing an instrument. Like it's not like fast and like, oh, I don't know the word. Yeah.
It's different though. Your body's got to be moving.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about school. How is school for I mean, not just socially. I want to talk to you to hear about your friends and what it's been like socially, but talk to us about being in a classroom, and has that been challenging?
Sitting in a classroom is probably the thing that I'm worst at. I get in trouble probably in every class that I'm in for talking too much or like not holding still. It's like, it's really hard. And my mom, she always bugs me about it because she was like a perfect student that like always just came
All
home.
parents were perfect
Yeah.
students. Remember that, Carter.
Just came home, did her homework, and like begged her mom to do the dishes, she said. And,
We're going to put your mom on the podcast next.
Here we go. Something tells me ADHD came from this guy. OCD came from her.
My dad says he was a lot like me. He'd get in trouble a lot for talking in class. It's like, I don't know why. I just can't hold still and just listen. If they ask me a question, I'll be able to answer it because I'm like, I know I'm listening to what they're talking about. I just can't like sit still and just watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your dad cracked a joke, you know, when we were chatting before. He described a moment where your teacher said, Carter, either be quiet or come up and teach the class. And you opted for the latter. You taught the class.
Yeah, so she had a slideshow on, and she was teaching and she was reading it, and I was just in the back talking, and she came up to me, Carter, I'm teaching the class right now. You can listen, or you could be the teacher and go up and teach. So I'm like, I'll teach. So I got up, and it was like an hour class, and I like, you can put the slideshow away. So I got on the whiteboard, and I wrote down like the different breathing techniques that I know, and I had a bunch of people ask questions, and I'd ask questions like, what can you do to relieve stress when you're feeling stressed? And like, it was pretty funny.
Did she take it in a tone of you're being naughty, or was she serious? Was she like, no,
She emailed me after the class, and she's like, great job, Carter. That was a pretty good lesson. I'm pretty impressed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did your peers take it that day?
At first they were kind of just laughing, but then they got like serious, like I was a real teacher. Yeah.
I love it. I would have loved to have been in the class that day.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
That's cool.
As you're dealing with, as the symptoms started to show themselves in school, what was that experience like?
When we lived in Santa Cruz, California, and my tics started acting up, all my friends just walked away from me. Everybody, like, they didn't know what was going on, you know, and they just, like, stopped talking to me, like, completely. And there was one kid who had Tourette's, a really awesome skateboarder, Benny Schneider. He's, like, from Santa Cruz. He's probably one of the best skaters I've seen, but he also has Tourette's and ADHD, and he's like, Carter, just it's gonna get better, you know. But everybody stopped talking to me, and it was hard. I was like, what's going on? Because I had like a lot of friends, like everybody knew who I was, and I was like, wait, what? Like,
Do you think that was that a function of them not knowing how to interact with you, or them genuinely, or them teasing you?
little bit of both. There was some that probably knew what was going on after Benny or me explained it. But most of them, like, I doubt any of them have seen something like that before, and they had no idea what was going on.
How were the teachers and the adults that you interacted with?
When I first started going in, we didn't like have a counselor at the school where we told the teachers, and the teachers were like, Carter, like, stop doing that, because they didn't really know, and I was like, I can't, but like, yeah, I would stutter a lot, and it was really hard, but we talked to counselors, and we made like an arrangement with the teachers, like, just don't call on me and sit in the back of the class. And
Was there a point where you said, Dad, I don't want to go to school. This is not enjoyable. It's awful. Like,
yeah,
did you have those conversations with your parents
yeah,
regularly?
yeah, probably every day after school, after the bullying, I'm like, it's just so annoying. They're like so mean to me. I don't want to do this anymore.
What kind of advice were you getting when you would share those concerns or frustrations?
They were saying just ignore them, like just keep going on with your day. They'll stop if you just ignore them and don't give in. And like I ignored them, I tried to ignore them, but that didn't really like help.
Yeah.
It like they just kept going.
Where, how would you at this point? How would you describe how mentally strong you were or weren't at that point?
I was really insecure. I wasn't really like, yeah, I was insecure, so I wasn't like very, like, oh, like I was embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't very like, yeah, just who I am. Like, I would try to hide it,
And ultimately, the bike was the one place where you found some relief
Yeah.
and some peace.
yeah, I'd come back after biking outside for a day, and I'd had really bad blisters. Like, yeah, because I would just be outside just riding wheelies.
You would take those blisters any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When now, I mean, we'll get into this next phase of where it's taken you and what you've been doing. But when you look back on those early days and how hard it was in school and the bullying and some of the things that were, people were commenting on, how do you feel about that now? Or how would you describe the people now?
There are kids that bully me who are going through really, really tough situations, worse than what I've been going through, and like really like parents are getting a divorce or like stuff like that, like death in the family, really close family member died, and they just don't know where to take their anger. And the one place where they feel like they can have control and like feel like they can be mean is school to kids who aren't going to fight back and who are just going to let it happen. And so the best thing that I do when somebody's bullying me is just agree with them. Like if they're just making fun of me and say like you're faking it, just be like, yep, just agree with them, because then they don't know what to say.
They're trying to get a reaction from you, right? So if
they're
you're
trying
able
to make me like freak out, but if you're just like chill and just don't give in, like ignoring them, they'll just keep doing it. But if you say something back like, yeah, you're right, yep.
Your dad shared a story of a bully, and you decided to take some notes from what that bully was saying. Maybe recount that story for us.
There was a kid, we were in school. He's pretty smart. Like, he has good grades, and he's definitely one of the smarter kids in school. And he was talking to me. He's like, Carter, you're just wasting your time doing this Instagram thing. Like, you might be making some money now, but like you won't be in 5 years. Like, you'll be working at Taco Bell. Have bad grades. You'll be a college or high school dropout. Like, you're gonna go nowhere with this. And he's like, just quit the Instagram and do good in school. So I got out a pen and paper and I started taking notes. I'm like, okay, so stop the Instagram, like, do good in school. And he's like, wait, what are you like, what? And I'm like, I need more tips. Like, what else should I do to become like you and have a good life? And he's like, just stop. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And he just kind of walked away.
Yeah. So you mentioned kill him with kindness.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I guess that leads into you and your dad try to decide how do we deal with this, or did you want to share your story publicly? Like, was that a thought that you had that maybe I can help others, or was this just a creative outlet to help you cope? What led to starting to post and share?
When I was at home in California, I dropped out of school, in sports. I was just at home, just doing like nothing all day. I'd go outside and, do wheelies, but like my dad was working from home and he was just watching me and he was kind of desperate. Like, what do I do? And me and him are like, let's go make videos every day, get your mind off it. And like, we started going out, filming my wheelies and stuff like that. And it took a few weeks. Like, I had like 300 followers after a week, and I was like, oh wow, this is getting cool. Our neighbor, he was a really good surfer. He had like 1,000 followers on Instagram. I was like, if I could get 1,000 followers, that'd be super cool. And like a week later, I had like 2,000 followers. I'm like, I have 2,000 people are watching what I'm doing. So I like reached out to some like small like fingerboard companies. I was like, do you guys want to give me some product and I'll make some videos for you guys? And a few of them said yeah, and I was like, no way. I'm like, oh wow. So made some videos for some fingerboard companies, and around Christmas time, we were up in Utah visiting for Christmas, and we were just posting, and I started gaining 2,000 followers a day. For like 3 weeks, I was getting like 2,000 followers a day, and it blew up. It was like, in no time, I was at like 80,000 followers, and then I was like 100,000, and then 110,000. I was like, whoa, like lots of people are watching what I'm doing, and it took it like, I had it. Oh wow. It led to some pretty cool opportunities, riding with some really amazing bikers and really amazing people. And I thought it was like, this is cool. Like, I got a bike from it. I was like, I'm getting bikes now from this. Like, if I keep doing this, I'll get lots of stuff and I won't have to save up money for it. But yeah.
When all of it was happening, when the rise kind of started to take off, share what kind of content you were sharing. I mean, I know you're riding bikes and I know you're fingerboards, but it's one thing to just kind of show those things. It's another thing to say things and to interact and to communicate, on a post. So describe that.
When we first started my Instagram, one of my things is overcoming Tourette's and mental health illnesses through mountain biking and action sports. And I was like, you guys can get through anything. No matter what's going on in your life, go find something that you can be good at and just try to get as good as you can. Like, just do it nonstop and get really good and find something that you truly love to do. And your mental or like physical, whatever it is that you're struggling with, you'll see it to start improving with like just that joy of just having something you love to do.
That you've just said, when did you reach the point where you believed what you just said?
Once my Tourette started to calm down and I got like I was hitting some serious jumps after, like, because of it. Or like my Tourette's died down because I was like doing some cool mountain biking stuff. I was like, this is really what's helping me. Like the medicine, but like it's helping me think like I can get through it. Just having something fun to do. It was like I can do this, you know? So it was about when I had like 30,000 followers, I was like, it really can help you overcome challenges.
Yeah.
Carter Brainstoke, our whole spiel behind Brainstoke is called the 5 S's. I don't know if you know what those are, but sleep, sun, sweat, serving other people, which I want to talk to you about. And the 5th one is stoke. And we often get asked, like, what is stoke? And stoke is doing things that you love, that you're passionate about. And when you do them, your brain releases serotonin, hence the 5 S's, different ways to get serotonin, in your life. I think that is the coolest advice that you're sharing. Do something that you love and get really good at it, right? That's stoke, right? Like that's literally why Brainstoke was born. Like you're the poster child for the 5th S, right? I mean, what you're doing is such a cool thing. And for a teenager to be able to share it openly like you are, which, by the way, your following is not a bunch of teens. I mean, I don't know what the age demographic is, but I think you play to every age because whether it's grandma who thinks you're cute, and speaking so wise, right? Your own struggle has become like your platform of wisdom beyond your years, right? I mean, you tell us. I mean, who's following Carter these days?
Lots of kids my age who are into mountain biking, and they're more there for like just seeing the action stuff. And there's kids my age also that are like, okay, I have challenges. Like this is really cool. And almost every one of my videos, there's like 3 people that'll comment on every single video, and it's kind of weird because they're like old grandmas. It's like, oh my goodness, Carter, that was a really good message today. Like just like really like thanks,
You never thought you'd be interacting with grandmas on Instagram, right?
No, that sounded really, nope.
It's amazing though, Carter. And I just have to tell you this, I'm sure your parents have said this, but there are so many people, older people, who can't get off the couch. They're physically incapable, like their bodies just don't work anymore. And they're seeing this young kid, like they're literally living through you in so many ways. Like your message is so universal. It's brilliant. It's hopeful to every age. And I hope you hear that.
Yeah.
I could get emotional just thinking about, forgive me. I know I want you to answer the question. We talked about it earlier about should you continue to do this because the bullying hasn't stopped. So I want you to talk about that, being bullied online and how that feels and why you've chosen it. But you're helping people, right? What's amazing is that the people who need the most help, they likely will never comment. They just watch, right? Mm-hmm. And that I can just tell you from our perspective, you're impacting people, whether you know it or not, in a good way. Yeah. There's just tons of people, the overwhelming majority of people, they're not confident. You mentioned insecurity. Adults are insecure. They don't even dare comment because they're insecure with what they're struggling with. So forgive me for saying so much, but what you're doing is so much more than jumping bikes. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're getting into the hearts and minds of people who need hope. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was at first kind of embarrassed to post it, like talking about like something I thought was embarrassing and kind of weird, but it showed like multiple kids DMing me like, what you're doing is really helping me get through challenges. And I thought like all the bullying from like in Santa Cruz and when we moved to Utah, like they're bullying me for like the dumbest stuff. Like they'll find anything to make fun of me for. And it's just like, it's so annoying. Like every day from school, I'll have like an interaction with a kid, and it's just like what? But we'll get these kids or even adults that are like going through something hard, and we'll hop on a call with them, and they'll like be so grateful, and it makes up for all the crap I have to go through to know that I'm lifting somebody up and letting them know that they'll get through it, and if they have hope and faith, that they'll be able to like get through it.
Tell us more about these calls. Like, do you just what are they seeking? What do they need when they call?
So we had a kid who dealt with like strokes, like really bad, or seizures, not strokes, seizures. He had seizures, and we got on a call, and he's like, how do you deal with it? Like, how do you deal with having something different, and with all the kids that make fun of you? And I'm like, you just got to live your life and not listen to the haters, because what they're doing is way less cool than what you're doing. And they're not living the cool life that you're living, and they're choosing a route to make fun of you. And what you're doing is far more cool, and we can kind of just be each other's cheerleaders and be like, you can get through this, you know?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Carter, the world is full of adults who are trying to do what you're doing right now as a teen, to be a cheerleader for other people, right? I mean, I wish more adults were doing it better. You know, unfortunately, there's so many who are not, who try to pull each other down. But I mean, that is so incredible. You know, that when you're on the phone call or when you're on with the child or the parents who are seeking kind of advice and feedback, how does it feel to you to be able to be in that position where people are asking you?
It feels good to know that I'm helping somebody, but also to know that even like for me, I'm not alone. And I know there's people going through similar struggles, and they're going through the same amount of bullying. And it's good to know like we're helping each other overcome challenges. And it's not even about me helping them. It like getting on a call really boosts my morale, and is really like it makes up, like I said, it makes up for all the bullying.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mentioned this, but you just segued perfectly. The fourth S is serve. Like when you get on a call with people, you're serving in such an incredible way. We finish every podcast with "You've had your daily dose." That's our tradition. The dose, the daily dose, the DOSE stands for dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. So the dose stands for something. When you sit with someone and you serve them because out of love, oxytocin is going off in your brain, right? It's this happy chemical. Is there a call that you get off where you don't just feel stoked and happy that you could serve them?
No. Every time, it's like, it's such a great feeling. And even with like, I've done giveaways, like all the way from like an electric bike, it's like just a pair of sunglasses, and I get all these cool stuff all the time. Like really awesome stuff, really awesome bikes. And I'm super excited, but something that is even a better feeling is seeing me give to other people and watching how happy they are. It's like sometimes you think like, well, can I just have it? You know, like, okay, I'll give it away, and you kind of like don't really want to, but once you do, like you feel so good for being nice. Like even just a smile to somebody like can brighten their day and make you feel better.
Yeah, there is something to feeling good when you accomplish something, but there's something so much greater when you can lift someone else with you along the way, right? And huge props that's the route you guys have chosen to go, to not only share your story, to try to lift others through sharing your story, but to be available and, you know, to be able to communicate and help them and love them and care for them. I think that's a fantastic thing. So, I mean, as a 13-year-old, you think about what you're now accomplishing, right? You're going from a moment where you were almost paralyzed and frustrated that you couldn't control parts of your body to you know, you're doing something that adults aspire to do, that some of them can't figure out how to reach that point. So I think your story is really, really pretty great, pretty awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Carter, part of your story clearly, you know, sitting off camera is a dad who just loves you to death, right? I mean, I can't even fathom what he's seen you go through. And I know your mom's amazing too. Speak about your parents.
I think that this Instagram thing has brought me and my dad really close. Like, we would bike together. I'd talk to him about stuff, but now it's like we're always together filming videos. And most kids, like he says, like my sister even, like, you know, hanging out with your parents, like, doesn't sound like lots of fun, you know, but when I'm going and riding with him and filming videos, it's lots of fun. And it's like something really special. And my mom, she's so amazing. My dad is kind of just like an emotional support, you know? But my mom, like, she'll organize all the doctor's appointments. She'll take care of making sure I have my medicine on trips, like stuff like that. And when I was going through it, she would lay in bed with me until I was asleep. And like, it would be hours. She'd lay in there just tickling my back for hours. And I'm just so grateful for them.
When did it settle in to you? You know, I mean, I would imagine for a time you didn't necessarily appreciate the parental involvement and how much involved they are. But when did you start to recognize, like, my parents are doing an insane amount?
Recently, with our Costa Rica trip or New Zealand trip, my mom, like, you know, packing all the stuff, but my dad especially sending so many emails and messages to different companies. And like, I was like, okay, he sent an email today, took him 5 minutes, but no, he's having back and forths, like FaceTime call meetings, trying to get us sponsorships and stuff like that. And I think it's so great. And he'll work so hard to try to get me stuff and try to do stuff for me that I'll enjoy.
I can speak firsthand to that. You're now, I think, our 60th or so episode. Am I right on 60th? And so we interact with a lot of people trying to coordinate and organize podcasts. You know how easy it was to communicate with your dad? It was so simple. And he was so prompt. So he's all in. He's in your corner for sure. What do you think when you went back to your dad suggesting when you were home, you had gone home homeschooled and you were frustrated and bored essentially, and your dad suggested, let's go create videos. Was that for him or was that for you?
It was for me.
Was it?
Yeah.
And why did he want to do that?
'Cause he didn't like watching me just sit there in pain on the couch all day.
Can you, at that point, I know you couldn't have fathomed what you now have. You have this really big machine that you've got that you almost have to feed. Does it feel overwhelming now to know you should or need to keep producing videos and content?
Takes 5 minutes of my day to make a video. Yeah. And most of the time it's like just fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like playing ping pong with my brother. Like stuff like that. He'll just record it and I don't even know. And he'll edit the videos.
Yeah.
He does most of the editing. Like I'll edit some videos, you know, but he does most of the filming and editing, and he's in charge of posting and finding all the brand stuff. So I'm kind of just here for all the fun stuff, and I don't really know
what a manager.
Yeah.
As it should be.
I wish I had an executive assistant at 13. I'd be so productive by now. Be amazing. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Where's this going? Like when you dream at night and you're just chilling and thinking, man, where does this all go? Like I'm 13. Like, what do you dream about this becoming?
Hopefully, like keep my channel going, but I want to start like a company, like, I don't know, bike product or like bike products and like a school even. I go, like, I'm not in the school, but I'll visit it sometimes. It's called Outlaw EDU. It's up in Park City, and it's just like this little group of kids that are amazing at all the sports, like snowboarding, mountain biking, and they like the stuff they're teaching is I like it a lot more than school. In class, one of the
I love I mean, the backflip class alone. I was like, this is legit.
one of the things that they were learning in class is how to build a company. They're building a company, and they're making a company, and like it's fun. Like I would look forward to going to that school every day. And like in the morning, we get there, they do an hour workout, and it's a hard workout. They go to the library and do schoolwork, and they do schoolwork, and then they go and ride bikes or snowboard, and it's a really cool school. So hopefully I can start something like that. And there's another foundation, Carry On, Thread Wallets. It's I forget how they're connected. I think it's I don't know, but Carry On, it's a foundation where they help kids with mental illnesses through action sports. And it's an awesome little like building. It's a giant skate park, and they're just like it's super cool. Yeah. Just helping kids overcome challenges through action sports.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, I mean, on the heels of visiting with Clint Pulver, I don't know if you guys know who Clint Pulver is, you know, a public speaker, but I think you have a platform. You know, I can see you on stage speaking. You know, I really can. You know, you have so much wisdom and experience that you've been through. So you want to wrap up? Ready for this? You're going to love this last segment because you can take it wherever you want. Freestyle. You take it any direction, speak about people, experiences, whatever you want. Anything you want to say, it'll be recorded for, 20 years from now when you're talking to, Junior about getting on the bike.
It takes work to get good at something. You're not just going to be good at it right away unless you're lucky or naturally good at it. But there's always something that you can progress at. And if you land a trick or something, or if you do a step in your life, try to do the next best thing. And just try to keep going and keep trying to be a better person than you already are.
It's amazing. 2 hours ago, we sat right here recording with a guy by the name of Braden Bringhurst. Do you know that name? I want you to look it up when you leave. Braden rides for Canyon. He created a movie called 8600. He rode the whole enchilada in Moab backwards. You need to watch it if you haven't seen it. But this is a beast on a bike.
Like up the hill.
Yeah, without a foot down.
Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including the famous snotch. So if you haven't seen
I respect those people so much. My uncle's kind of like that. Like, I don't get how they do it. I went on a mile uphill ride and almost passed out. I don't know how,
What's interesting about Braden is he's not an endurance rider. He only trained to become capable to endure riding up the whole enchilada, which is 27 miles uphill, one of the most famous downhill rides. But he did it because of his commitment to mental health and drawing attention. And he created a movie that's now, if you go on YouTube and look at 8600. But I bring him up because we finished by us saying Braden freestyle, and he said almost the exact same words that you did. You're saying it at 13. He said it at 36, and he's been riding pro forever. Amazing. Like the same advice. It's crazy. He pole vaulted at BYU. He was an incredible athlete, and now, years later, he's still riding pro with Canyon bicycles.
I love Canyon.
So, yeah.
That's
I bet.
I look at their bikes, I'm like, Dad, can I just please, we don't need to get it. We don't need to get it for free. Let's just buy this one.
Well, I promise you that we're going to put you on a phone call with Braden Bringhurst.
Deal.
Yeah. Because the two of you, I'm picturing in my mind again, like maybe I shouldn't say this out loud. The two of you on stage, him talking about his thing and you, what a combo of two incredible athletes speaking very genuinely about mental health because he has his own story. So you're awesome, dude.
Sweet, thank you.
So cool to spend time with you. Anything else you want to say?
This is so awesome. I love what you guys are doing. Such a cool like podcast show, and yeah, super cool.
You're kind. Great to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you.
You've had your daily dose.